obviously in Dubai is booming. Is it a bubble here in Dubai?
No, I would advise investing into hotels. Anyone that's going to the casino will either want to stay in the win. If they can't get into the win, they're wanting to go to a hotel.
There has been some dips in time.
Major dips.
Major dips. How do you separate yourself away from sort of everyone else?
Adding value. I hope there's a bit of a cleanse soon of some people that have been let in.
What's your thoughts on AI technology?
I bloody love it.
Hello and welcome to Bet Talks, powered to you by 0x Processing. I'm Rick Godds and I'm joined by a special guest. She is an entrepreneur, relocate and real estate expert. She is the founder and host of her own podcast season, Pride and Shine. Hannah Pryde, welcome to Bet Talks.
Thank you very much for having me. What an intro.
I know, I put it together myself. I did a bit of research.
Taking it on one gas, that's what I'm more excited about.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it fits your bio.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I've been watching your content, Pride and Shine. You're on the opposite side of the foot today.
I know, it feels weird. I'm like, I don't like not being in control.
Yeah. Pride and Shine. Tell me a little bit more. I mean, what was the vision of it? How did it all start?
Do you know what? I never came up with the idea. I can't say I did. It was a person that came through to me on LinkedIn, and he met me briefly. And at that time, I was really putting together a marketing strategy. I hadn't really ever paid for marketing before, and I doing a little bit better in real estate. And the business being about 8 months old. No, the business would have been a year old, and I'd been in. I'm so confused. No, it wouldn't have been May last year, June. When did I start real estate? A year, yeah. So it had been about a year into real estate, a year into the business, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to start investing into marketing. I've done it all organically. I've done it all myself editing, but I need to take my foot off the gas. Let's pay someone to do it. So I was interviewing all these marketing people, and I'm one of these people that I don't want the best. I want someone that can grow with me and can come up with really amazing ideas, because I am like change all the time. And then as someone, I think sometimes if you grow with someone, you can kind of like flux and change, and everyone's part of the movement. Whereas if I went for a marketing team that was already ahead of the schedule, it would have been 6 reels, a plan, and I'd stick to it. Yeah. So this really exciting guy came to me and was like, I've got a plan. We're going to do a podcast. And I was like, all right, tell me about it. And he was like, well, you don't shut up. And I was like, that's true. And I was like, all right. So he was like, we'll do a podcast because you actually don't realise that you've got hidden talent of knowing so many people in Dubai. And the people that you end up collaborating with and doing business with actually have an amazing story. And you're very good at getting out of them because you just sit and ask questions. And I was like, okay, let's try it. So to be honest, it was great. He was right. All my friends were entrepreneurs. So it was really easy to get the guests on because I'm right, come help me out. And I loved it. Okay, I've absolutely loved it. The amount I've learned within those, I only film for an hour because I've got ADHD. After an hour of recording, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. And it's not even like, I think it happens on both sides. We've even looked at the longest form of the podcast, and they don't get as many views because I think people fall off the wagon. So we've only been recording for like an hour, but that hour that we sit and have a conversation with, wow, the amount of stuff that I generally come back with, I feel like I'm the most interesting person in the room. So we actually started Pride and Shine, going back to that, for lead generation. We've seen that everyone in the real estate and migration market was doing the exact same, like, mundane videos that were really boring trying to sell. So we said, let's actually find out the stories of the people that have moved.
Show interest in them.
Yeah, let's like show it. And it's meant to be kind of like a directory. So anytime I sit in a meeting, like I've had 4 meetings this week, and we'll be sitting chatting for an hour, and I'll be like, they'll be asking me questions about moving to Dubai. I'm like, do you know what? If you look at my podcast, I'm sure someone will be within your industry. Just click on it and watch them, and I'm sure you'll get a bit of insight. Even if they're not, it'll be a great way. And that's why we've had it. I mean, I absolutely love doing it. You'll know it yourself. It can get a bit tedious. You can get frustrated trying to play tag with each other's calendars at times.
Yes, of course.
But it's a great way, and it's been a really good way, I think, now in 2025 especially. Long-form content, I would say, is the way forward. So although sometimes I don't want to do it anymore, I do absolutely love it. I have a burning desire for it. It's just you get a bit annoyed when you don't get the views, so you don't get collaborated. Good, but that's just your ego inside.
I think that's your algorithms as well.
Yeah.
You sort of, if the algorithms meet and the sort of criteria and the guests, there's a combination of many different things.
Yeah.
Timing is very important.
It's massive. Yeah. And I think also the snippets, stuff that you find interesting, not everyone else finds interesting. And what I find, which you'll see as well, some people that are so characteristic off the camera, as soon as the lights are there, they're like,
yeah, of course.
They have no idea, so then you can't actually get the best out of them. But do you know what? It's one of these things, it's a learning curve, and the skill set that I've learned through holding conversation, through mirroring, even the pronunciation, I'm very bad at pronunciation of words, has got so much better because I'm becoming doing longer conversation with more intricate conversations, if
you
that
learn
makes
so
sense.
much.
Yeah, it's
of course,
huge.
the people that you meet. So it was started off as a lead generation.
Yeah.
You've learned to love it, which is great. And I've watched a lot of your episodes, and I think it's great what you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, just going back to obviously as a lead generation source. Now, obviously, you are in the real estate sector.
Yeah.
Now, real estate obviously in Dubai is booming. It's an emerging market.
Hugely.
How do you see real estate? Is it a bubble here in Dubai?
No, it's definitely not a bubble. I actually studied economics, so I could go on for this for days. I'm like, no, it's not. It is in some areas, 100%. JBC, you've got over 250,000 units handing over between 2026 and 2027 with no major demand of apartments. There's a demand. There was 110,000 people that moved here with only 100 and basically the demand outweighed the supply in property markets. I'm not going to ramble on about numbers, could get them wrong right now. But the supply far weighs out demand. The bubble in general, if you look at the global index of price per square foot, in most cases, Dubai, you're still getting per $1 million spent over 1,000 square foot. If you put that into perspective, in Paris, Monaco, New York, Miami, London, you're not even getting more than 500 square foot. In some cases, like Monaco and Paris, it's less than 200 square foot per $1 million spent. So when you look at that and the actual property you're getting, we've just had the likes of JP Morgan, all these major financial equity, big companies are moving to the ADGM and the DIFC. And that's only going to put the property prices up. Think if you or your parents had the opportunity back 50 years ago to invest in London, near Buckingham Palace, near Canary Wharf, for £5 million. They'd have been like, yeah, 100%.
Of course.
They wouldn't even bat an eyelid. It's just like me saying to you, if I could give you the opportunity to buy Bitcoin in 2008 or 2013 or whenever, you'd say absolutely. That is the opportunity that we have now within some of these off-plan developments within District 1, District 11, Al Barari, Dubai Hills. You are buying a absolutely outrageous villa or apartment for such a little amount when you put it into comparison of the Burj Khalifa and DIFC is basically the equivalent of Buckingham Palace and Canary Wharf of London.
That's a big call, but yeah, I like it.
It is. When people like that's a big call, but when you look at the future and how many millionaires are leaving London, how many people are moving to Dubai, and
I think Europe in general, people are leaving, and the US
now.
As well. Yeah,
it's crazy, and you just see when. Whatever I do within real estate, I have to obviously, just for myself, for me really to understand it, but it's good for the clients. Like I will show what we're investing in, the economic factors around it, and the properties that are already transacting because I've mainly focused on new builds. And when you still look at even the ready properties and everything else, obviously Dubai is not London yet, but we're not saying in 50 years Dubai couldn't be up to London scratch, and that's why I'm comparing it to this area because you see all the properties that grandparents bought and whatnot, and how much they're valued at now. I personally think that's where Dubai's going.
Wow. I like your stats. I like the way that you deliver it. It's great. I mean, I've got some friends that's been in the industry for 15 years in Dubai, and they are obviously massive believers of the market. There has been some dips in time, but that's the same as anything. Major dips. I mean,
it's not a little dip, it's a major dip.
2012 was not great. So
not at all.
Is there chances of that coming back? There's a chance of anything.
It's just like the pandemic, and if I had a bit of paper here, I'd be sitting, or a whiteboard, I'd be sitting squiggling and explaining it all, and you can actually see it on my Instagram half the time now. I'm out there like, But there's a thing now called escrow. Escrow will stop having ever the same dip of 2009, 2012, 2016, blah, blah, blah. It'll never be so far down again. Dubai will never make the same mistake twice. They're always trying to better themselves and make everything more legal. And that's why we now have escrow managers, checks, etc. So people can't just take the money and run. And that was the main cause of the major crashes that we've seen over the years is people, firstly, the demographic of Dubai changed. You never really seen families here. It was mainly single men working, had everything paid for. They had no real assets in Dubai. They were sending all their money back home. So whenever there was a crash, they would just leave and go, fuck that, I'm away. See ya, don't want anything to do with it. Yeah. Whereas now, Dubai has such a calling for safety, for education, for opportunity, that people now have been like, instead of just moving a single parent, they're moving full families. Hence why we've now seen that GEMS school have just had to do 100 billion dirham school because there isn't enough schools. That's actually one of the first questions I say to my clients when I have a meeting with them. If they're looking to move to Dubai, have you got your children signed into school? And they go, what? And I'm like, have you got them placed into school? The majority of time, they don't.
Yeah.
And right now, we're looking at sometimes, if you're lucky, 6 months, but it can be all the way to 2-year waiting list for your child to get into school. So it's all well and good saying, I'm moving to Dubai, but if there's no schools for your kids to go to Dubai, how are you moving?
Yes.
And that just shows how big the demographic of the people moving, and now people are looking to actually have roots here, spend their money here, and that's where we'll not see a dip. And that's where now we're seeing the crisis within the UK. Think of all the people that were paid in the UK but spent their money in Dubai.
Correct. Yeah. I agree. So I see a lot of your content. You're always out there grinding away, hustling. I love it, right?
It's fab. I feel like I'm on The Apprentice.
So you're always out there, obviously, doing new content and sort of grinding away. It is a saturated market.
Majorly.
Right.
Absolutely majorly. The day they put a fucking exam in for people that have no clue what they're talking about or just bullshit, the better.
How do you separate yourself away from sort of everyone else?
Adding value. A lot of people, going back to studying economics and business and marketing, a lot of people in Dubai have got no education behind them, which is fine. Most people that are super successful don't. But they're sheep in the sense that all they do is they look at the payment plans. And although payment plans are sometimes incredible, the majority of time, if a payment plan's absolutely obscene, like 1% a month or 30/70 or something just like ridiculous, it actually means the price per square foot is probably super, super high for the area. And therefore, all you're buying is a payment plan and you're buying a property that's actually way overpriced. When you actually break down the numbers to these agents, they have no idea what you're talking about because they don't understand the actual main element of if you're selling off plan or if you're buying a property is the price per square foot. It's a different sale when you are looking at an end use product because it's an emotional buy. So people are honestly happy to not make a profit on that property. They just want a home that's a home in the best location at the best quality.
Correct.
But usually when people are buying off plan, and the reason they get these 50% return on investments, 100, 200, it's down to the price per square foot. And where that's made up from is the transaction of properties around it, the area, and the economic and political factors of Dubai and the outside world. Therefore, if you're buying a property at 2,000 a square foot and everything in that area is transacting at 1,100, but you bought on a 20% down or a 1% payment plan, in hindsight, you're buying something that's way over value. You probably are not going to make money and you're probably going to have to distress sell it in years to come when there's an oversupply to the market. And that's where we differentiate ourselves, not only myself, but probably a lot of the real estate brokers at Strata. We're taught it's adding value and it's understanding where the capital appreciation is coming from, understanding where or why the payment plan is at that price point. So yeah, hopefully people now have to have like an exam or something that they understand, because the amount of deals I lose, because I'm quite a delicate salesperson. I want to build relationships.
Yeah, of course.
Some people are like a bull in a fucking China mart and they're like, no, buy it, stress them out. And they go, oh, I just can't do that to someone. I want to build, because I see myself in Dubai for the foreseeable and I see myself in this career forever. So I know that whatever I sell, I'll probably be renting or reselling. I don't want to sell them shit. Therefore, I'm sometimes a bit too gentle, whereas you get the bulls in the China mart and they will sell absolute shit and they get away with it. But it's just because they're a very good salesperson.
Okay. Nice, I like it. Where do I sign?
We can go out. Take your viewings after.
So, such a saturated market, I can see obviously you've done your homework, you're experienced in the market, you talk a great talk. Any unique developments out there that you could give our guests here at Bet Talks that you would recommend in this sort of emerging market that is saturated? There's so many projects out there, so many developers.
There's, I think, right now on Property Finder, 18,440.
Yeah.
Right now, brand new.
I think there's 80,000 brokers now in Dubai, I've heard,
There's 40,000 brokers without actual the RERA.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Which is wild. That just wouldn't be allowed anywhere
else. And then
else.
another 50% unregistered.
Yeah,
so,
it's actually crazy. Well, you guys are in gaming, so I would say Rack. The only thing right now to watch with Rack, so I sold quite a few Nikki Beaches last year. So I can give you this analogy that I actually gave to put it on Instagram. If you'll want to watch the full story, go there. But my clients invested in Nikki Beach, which was launched 2 Octobers ago nearly. We bought in it launched at 1,800 a square foot. I had multiple clients that bought in at 2,200 a square foot. It was a 15% payment in your first year, and then around 5 to 10 over the next 4 years during handover. These guys have already made 57% return on equity and a 9% appreciation in less than 1 year of buying that property.
That's off plan in Ras Al Khaimah.
Off plan in Ras Al Khaimah. There are some fantastic opportunities in Ras Al Khaimah, but price per square foot in Ras Al Khaimah now is very expensive. The reason we were able to see that property had gone up by 57% is we got a cancellation unit, and the property that was on the 4th floor back facing was now transacting at the same price per square foot as a high floor facing the waterfront. So I would now say to Nikki Beach investors, if someone came to me, I still think it's a fantastic opportunity. You're still buying at less than 3,000 a square foot. The trajectory for Ras Al Khaimah is it could go up to 10,000 a square foot. Who knows? We don't know where the market. I'd say more conservative, 100% will reach 5,000 a square foot. We've now got talks that Disneyland might even be going there, so it could be a full resort. You've obviously got the golf course, waterfront, etc. Right now in Ras Al Khaimah, I'm going to be completely truthful. There's nothing that pops in my head that I'm like, you are guaranteed 30% return on investment on facts and figures. And that's something that if I have a client that came, or you guys came and like, I want to buy in Ras Al Khaimah because of the gaming, I would actually look at what we have and what's coming and be like, this is a good investment.
Sure.
There's obviously loads of investments I can show you that you're going to obtain 10, 15, 20%. But over a 4-year period, I don't see 5% as a good return on investment. You could put that in a bank account, you get a higher amount on an ISA, which technically is a safer investment. Obviously, properties, bricks and mortar, and you're always going to get appreciation. But a lot of people that invest in off-plan want to have that quick flips or long-term trajectory. So right now in Ras Al Khaimah, there's loads of options. It just depends what, as your viewers, would be looking at as a good return on investment. For me, I would advise investing into hotels because, let's be honest, anyone that's going to the casino will either want to stay in the Wynn. If they can't get into the Wynn, they're wanting to go to a hotel. I personally don't think people will run to non-branded residences because it's just not the wow that everyone really sees. They'll be more rented to workers of the island.
Yeah.
When it comes to investments within Dubai, again, there's loads. I'm a big believer in Six Senses in the marina just because of where the world's going. It's going very much in a health and well-being pursuit, and everyone's now saying your wild card that used to be like what car you had and what club you went to is now going in. Are you into biohacking? Are you a part of a private members club about being better?
Yeah.
And that's where I see the added value. Breaking down your price per square foot in Six Senses, you're buying in at 3,200 a square foot, and other properties within Marina in a close vicinity and of the same developer are transacting between 3,500 and 4,000 a square foot. Branded general residences on a whole in Dubai transact at plus 5,000 a square foot. Your ultra luxury like your Lana Business Bay by Dorchester, your Atlantis Royal, your Six Senses, which is about to hand over, transact at anything above 8,000 a square foot. So for an investment like that, you'd be looking at no less than 65% return on investment, which is, you cannot complain. And my final recommendation would be if you were, again, going back to the being close to the DIFC and your Burj Khalifa, would be a new development called District 11. Yep. Which is a full community in front of Al Barari, which transacts at 3,000 a square foot plus, and behind District 1 and Dubai Hills, which are now transacting at 3,000 foot all the way to 6,000 foot. And properties there in each location are transacting anything above 30 million to 300 million. They're huge, crazy, big villas. Yeah. District 11 is really exciting because it's a community made up of 24 sub-communities of luxury villas. So you've got Bentley Homes, Artistria, Lamborghini, Wellington, Ellington, everything you can imagine. And there's some really exciting developments we actually have within Strata. The price per square foot is 1,500. In that area already, we're seeing transactions at 2,000 to 3,600 a square foot. Therefore, even if you bought in at Wellington, let's say at 1,500, and it reached 2,000 a square foot, you're getting 80% return on investment as a minimum.
Wow.
And that's the type of things that when I speak to investors, because it is mainly investors I speak to, is we're looking at investments that you're putting your money into the property, which is X, and in a certain number of years, we take that money out and we move into the next property. I personally always like to advise properties that has the potential that it could be an end-use product. If on the on-site that my client decides to move to Dubai, they decide they want to live in it, but I also think it's an easier sell to understand who your avatar is when you're buying a property. And I think that's one thing agents in Dubai miss. If you're buying something, you have to build a strategy on what your exit is. So Six Senses, your exit is, that will be sold to footballers in the future or CEOs, CFOs, because it's in Abu Dhabi. It's going to be bang in between Expo, bang in between DIFC. It's going to have full privacy. It's no hotel attached to it.
So you're already giving the end user before they even purchase it. It's good.
Because that's where you need to sell. And it's up to me. It's not up to them. If you're a financial advisor, if you're a footballer, if you're in crypto, I've got fucking no idea. I don't expect to know that. If I'm giving you your money, I expect you to know the full plan and be able to execute it. I don't expect you to go, give me money, all right, sweet, I've got your money. You sort it out now.
What's next? Yeah. What's the plan? What's the long-term goal?
Exactly.
I like it. You're very knowledgeable on the market. I've got a lot of close friends that's been in the game for a long, long time that have their own real estate companies. And I'm not saying I'm an expert, but just going back to Ras Al Khaimah, my theory on Ras Al Khaimah is not as I'd say not as beneficial as what you're saying. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Reason being,
I like this.
I've been in gaming for nearly 9 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I spoke with the gaming board of commissioners in the UAE. Nothing's guaranteed that casinos are not going to pop up in Dubai once the Wynn is open in Ras Al Khaimah.
And just to stop you on that point, there is a casino in New York, Miami, London, Russia, China. People still fly to Vegas. It's not about, I know there's going to be a casino in Blue Waters. I know there's going to be a casino in Burj Al Arab. 100%.
QE2 in Deer Island.
100%. But those casinos are more for people that are on a night out or during the day. They're not like a let off steam. People go to Vegas being like, I want to go put a wig on and play Krabbies and go see Adele. Like, it's meant to be like a party. That's where RAC is going to get it. And that's why I say to people, invest in the hotels. Because it isn't like someone's going to go to the casino because there's no casinos. It's 100% guaranteed casinos are coming to Dubai.
You don't think that the property value will drop if casinos open in Dubai?
Well, not really, because it'll be, think now, the majority of my clients used to have properties in Saint-Tropez, properties in Marbella, property in Ibiza. People in London used to have properties in Cotswold. A lot of these people are now selling these second homes. They're moving to Dubai. They still want a second home. They used to think they wanted it in Europe. However, now look, Gigi's is here, Casa Amor here's all these restaurants is here. They're all came here.
African Queen.
Yeah, everyone's
it's all
here.
South France. Yeah.
Why? Because people now are growing their roots in Dubai. I was one of these people. I'd spend my winters in Dubai, my summers in Europe. I physically now do not have the financial capability to do that, and neither does most people, because you end up spending so much here in the off season in winter and in so much money in summer. We can do it, but that'd be so stupid, because I'm going to be another 10 years with no savings, no assets, and just been partying.
Dubai has become an all year round.
100%, and that's why going back to Ras Al Khaimah, people now are buying and living in Dubai that used to live in London, where they used to have a second home to go to the weekend. So these people in Dubai are now looking for second homes in Oman, Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, all these places as a sanctuary, because Dubai, you'll know it yourself, you're in here and it's 100 miles per hour, blah, 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 blah. People speak. When even you drive to Abu Dhabi for the weekend, you just kind of feel like you can take a breath. And that's why I think these places are going to work, because it isn't going to be, it's just going to be like a sanctuary for the people that are full speed ahead in Dubai, because they will still have their maybe holiday home, but they're only going now to Europe for maybe 2 weeks to a month. They're not going for the full May to October. Nobody can, unless they're just living this lifestyle that they've got everything's flash on paper, but they've got nothing behind them. And that's going back to the demographics change. People are looking for roots. People are looking for stability. People are looking for a long-term trajectory. And how do they do that? They can't go on all these holidays. So they're now looking for holidays within Dubai and maybe 1 or 2 weeks in Europe.
Agreed. 0x processing are focused mainly on 2 things: acceptance rate and security, achieving an unprecedented level by combining proprietary blockchain infrastructure with broad account security measures. 0x processing, crypto payments for your business. Dubai has changed. I've been coming here since 2014.
Same.
Yeah.
That was the first time. And I came in 2013.
Coming here since 2000, not living here. I've lived here for 6 years now. It has changed so much. It's unbelievable. Some for the better, some for the worse.
100%. I used to, when I first came to Dubai, I absolutely hated it. But I think that's because I got really badly stung by a jellyfish. But I just hated it. When I moved to Dubai, my parents, it was so off the cusp. My parents were so surprised. They're like, Hannah, get the fuck home. And everyone just kind of had, it was during COVID, it was lockdown. Everyone had this scarcity of, you're going to get locked up and everyone's going to blah, blah, blah. Then I lived here, and now I've lived here like yourself. You're 6 years, I'm 5 years. My parents come and go, never come home. This is the best place ever. And I live in like the countryside. It's perfect. I lived in a bubble. I didn't realize how much I lived in a bubble. But I'm completely with you. Dubai has changed drastically for the better and the worse. There's some amazing things now, the opportunities. However, I hope there's a bit of a cleanse soon of some people that have been let in, because...
Where do you see it's changed for the worst?
Just I don't know what I can say, obviously not to get us in trouble, but I would just say the bad, not the bad, because everyone's good. The gang culture, that's what I'm going to call it. The gang culture that's arrived in Dubai, which I have never been brought up with. I'm from Scotland. I've never even seen a cuff fight in like a garden. And I was at the duck cook at the weekend, and there was a full-on fight against two gangs, and there's like grandparents trying to get through the door at 8 p.m. And like that was just never a thing in Dubai.
Never a thing.
It was never a thing. And that's why I'm saying I hope there's a cleanse, and there will be a cleanse, because the Dubai police and UAE are very strict on it. But I feel like a lot of them have been allowed in.
There's several reasons, in my opinion, where it's changed for the worst. West Beach has become Magaluf.
Oh my God, I say that all the time. It's so sad as well. I sell properties there to like clients. I'm like, by the way, it's a strip.
It's a strip. It's literally a strip. I've said this many times. Traffic is unbearable.
What do you think now though about Elon Musk's under-road car system and the trains and the walkways?
I think it's great, but it's going to take time. You're not going to see anything within the next 2 decades.
Do you think it'll be that long?
I mean, an underground metro station tunnels are going to take time.
Obviously, but I'm more thinking about like the subways and whatnot, because they'll be done by 2030. And I always say to people, it's going to get worse by you get better. If it was me, and this is what I do, live where you work. I tell everyone that. Just cut the shit. Just live where your office is. It's so much better. That's where you need to be majority of the time. But I do think like people in London are happy to get the tube. It's just there's not really been a tube to get.
Put it this way, I think you'll start seeing flying drones before you start seeing underground trains.
Probably no, but there's a train going above it. There's the tram.
The overground, they already have overground, but
then they're really extending it. So extending it all the way to Damac Hills. Hopefully that frees it up. That's what I'm hoping for. But I don't even know if I'd get in it. I enjoy like.
I mean, but you've been coming here since 2014. When was the last time you used the overground?
I've used it once.
Same.
And I ended up. Do you know why I never got on it again? Took the wrong stop. I was meant to get to, I think it was, so it'd be J1 now, but remember when J1 was like that cool, funky? We're meant to get there. I ended up in Deira, and I just arrived in Dubai. I was like, where am I? Like, what country is this?
So there's my point proven. Like, you extend these metros, but are people actually using them?
Do you know what I laugh at? See when people come to Dubai when I have friends home, and they're like, Hannah, this traffic. I'm like, look in all the cars, and they're like, what? And I'm like, there's only ever one person in every car. It's not like when you're in the UK and you'll see a full car load of it's one person per car. I'm like, they should just make a rule that get 2 people per car.
Yeah, of course. I think they have that. They have the congestion, don't they, in the UK congestion. Okay, great. So you're pretty experienced within Dubai. You've been here for many 100%. years. It's become a home for you.
I will never leave. I do want to ask what the other 3, because I did butt into you, the other 3 points where that you see.
Okay, Tell me how Dubai has changed for the worst.
So what was the other 3? You said it was Magaluf, traffic.
Traffic and I think the crime has increased, which is what you said. Like you say, I mean, I've heard stories, I've not been around, but I've seen things happen and I've gone, oh, that would have never happened. There's a big party scene in Dubai now.
Huge.
Which there was clubs and stuff, but Ibiza now is moving in heavily to Dubai, which brings a lot of other things. Each to their own, and I hope everyone enjoys the party life, but it's not what Dubai used to be.
Not at all. And do you know the smart people, and I say it to everyone when they first move to Dubai, the smart people will keep your head down and keep your holidays to the same amount of holidays you have in the UK. If you try and party every week, whether it's brunches, whether it's clubs, you'll never get anywhere. You'll be in a returning hamster wheel that you'll be like, you'll look back in a year because Dubai goes so fast. You're like, what the fuck have I achieved?
Like, I mean, when I first came here, and I'm sure yourself, and a lot of people, they come here, and Dubai is the best place in the world, and you're out every day, beach clubs, this, that, parties, and like, I don't party anymore.
Neither.
Right, I work.
Same.
I work. Right? I have 4 businesses. I work. I film 2-3 times a week. Like, I'm traveling every other week. So, but when I first came here, it was a completely different story in Dubai. Like from what I was doing, and people I was hanging around with, and not that there's anything bad in that, but it was wow.
Wow.
Now I don't see Dubai on that sort of level anymore. I don't see it as that.
I think it's maturity though. I was the exact same. I actually had a bit of a reputation of being a party girl, being like, Hannah'll always be out. Hannah's always up for it. I was like, yeah. Because I was just studying during university. I was 21. Of course I was loving it.
Yeah.
But now I'm fully have like quite a strict regime. I didn't drink the first 3 months this year because I was like, it's just a distraction.
Yeah.
And I've seen how much my life's improved year on year because I've set goals and with targets, with deadlines that I'm accountable to. Therefore, there is progress. Like everything you can achieve can be achieved. You just have to put your mind to it with no distractions. Therefore, the majority of the people around me, all my friends are entrepreneurs, and I always say to people, you kind of need to have a cheesecake friend group within Dubai. You have to have your friends that are entrepreneurs, your tight circle of friends that are family, your friends that you go out and network with, your friends that you go and party with, but keep them all separate as much as you can, because if you merge them all to once, you're all going to get nowhere, and it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people. But yeah, I'm the same as you, and I think as well your reputation goes such a long way. So it's not very good if every weekend you're out partying, because how the hell can they think you're an expert on your field?
You can't physically, mentally recover after partying every week.
No,
you can't
absolutely
physically do it.
And I think it should be seen as a reward.
I thought I could.
Yeah.
And I've learned to realise that you can't. You cannot be out.
And you know, that's an interesting point, and this is why now I'm so crazy on this longevity and health, because I can see the full world going in that direction. I've done season Ibizas. I used to I was doing a dissertation, working in Ibiza and going to parties and basically not sleeping for 3 days and be sitting on like that. I was crazy. And I look back at that and I still got a first in that dissertation, that I was still like half in, half out, partying for days. And I'm like, imagine how fucking good I would have got if I had just put it all into that. But I think everyone now, since COVID, they felt so good, and then everyone was so excited and partied, and then they've all kind of been like, what the fuck, I feel shit now. And now everyone's getting into like biohacking, fitness classes, community, not with alcohol. It's like the new cool. All these non-alcoholic drinks, all these major entrepreneurs that used to be known as like the party animals are now bringing out the biggest non-alcoholic drinks because everyone's on it. That's why I think going back to Six Senses and Cyro, that's going to be like the new wild card. People in LA, real estate billionaires that have made all their money in clubs, are now investing into health and wellness clubs because that's where they can see the markets going. And I think it's the people now in Dubai that, going what you're saying about Ibiza, I don't know if like the ocean beaches and everything are going to work. I can see the Saint-Tropez clientele are going to work because it's just dinners and restaurants. It's not a proper hoo-ha, get your top off, jump in the pool. It's like an elegant dinner where you can, it's like an easy chat, you can do conversation, you can meet.
If you look, let's look at Brits, right? Everything about Brits, especially back home, is all around alcohol. 100%. Everything is focused around drinking. Right?
It's how we're brought up.
It's how you brought up.
I mean, it rains all the time. Fucking hell.
So everyone's in a pub or in a bar drinking. I'm not saying that doesn't happen here, but there is, especially expats, there's a big difference in people I've noticed, especially in Dubai. Which is great. So another question I want to ask you, and by the way, I like your theory on real estate. I think you're very knowledgeable. What's your thoughts on networking?
Oh my God, I'm such an advocate for it. And I've always been an advocate for it. So I've been brought up, I went to private school. And I went to private school through me and my sister being really bad. Well, my big sister being really badly behaved and me being diagnosed with dyslexia at like 3 years old. So the nursery teacher was like, just send them to private school. My parents didn't go to school. My dad was rolling the bloody hot dog sausages at the back of the classrooms. My mum was pretending she was 16 to be a hairdresser. Like, they were not that big education. And my mum and dad, even when we were at school, they were like, we don't care. As long as you're polite, you can hold a conversation and you try your hardest, do what you want. Whether that's passing your exams, there was never huge pressure on us. Like, it was just try your hardest. And as I grew up, I had friends like, the school I went to, we had to go to school on a Saturday. We were in school at like 8 a.m. in the morning, depending if you had fitness, and at school till 7 p.m. at night, doing all these extra, I can't even pronounce it, but extra activities. We had to do entrepreneurship classes, so I was like learning how to build a business within school. It was very like hands-on, and you were always at school. Anyway, growing up, we'd socialise with all the different schools. You're young, you don't realise. As I got older, and I left school at 17 because I was just done with it. I was like, see you later. I'm going to university in London. I realised I'd been to school with billionaires. I'd been to school with people's parents that had signed off a £20 note to make it legit. I'd been to school with like politicians and huge successful business people. And all I had done is brush shoulders with them. They were now connections I have for life. They're now connections that I'm friends with, and we have, and it opened so many doors. And my mum and dad were like, yeah, we're glad you learned. Like, we sent you to that school and we spent all that money because we were putting you in the best possible circle from a young age that wasn't only helping you to be a better person and speak better and have good grades, it was helping you be able to socialise with... My mum's best friend lives in a council estate, but we were also socialising with a billionaire. And my mum and dad wanted to teach us from a very young age that you treat absolutely every single person with the same. And it was interesting. I went to school, and a lot of my friends were from public schools, and they used to think that they were different to everyone. So they'd be like, oh, I can't speak to your friend, and I'd be like, what? Like, that's so weird. Whereas people from my school would speak to everyone because they just seen themselves as like a normal human being. And when I've came to Dubai, the skill set that I learned from school, being able to go socialise and network, and we had to present it from a young age because they were just kind of teaching us a very much like real life and how to be in business. Because most people that go to private schools, people think they're politicians and whatnot. Most people, are parents who were from council estates. Most people, parents made their money through setting up businesses, through trades. So that's what they wanted to teach us. So when I came to Dubai, I was always taught your net worth is your network. And when I first moved here after finishing dissertations in uni, I was selling second citizenship into the UK and opening businesses to generate $100,000. You got a passport after 5 years, same with Portugal, etc. Again, you're introducing and meeting billionaires and millionaires. I'm 21 years old and my boss used to be like, you are scared of nobody. And I'd be like, yeah, why would I be scared of them? Like, we're the same person. And I've just developed it and used it to my advantage in every aspect of my life in Dubai. If I'm a nice person, if I'm trying to add value, I'm not trying to take anything, and as long as I'm just being there and being present...
Being very real.
Yeah, you're going to get on with everyone.
Agreed.
There's no reason to put on a persona. And I think in Dubai, people are very much open to collaboration. People are very much open to help each other as long as you're not taking the piss. Yeah. And as soon as you take the piss or have a bad reputation, you get fucking nowhere with it.
A lot more than especially European mindset, especially UK.
Yeah.
You speak to people, oh, what do you do? Oh, what's it got to do with you?
Yeah.
What does it have to do with you?
100%.
Please don't ask me these questions. Like, people are very, very closed.
Yeah, but I think that's because they think we're going to get robbed.
Yeah.
They're like, right, what do you do? I'm going to follow you and get you robbed. That's why. I think, like, whereas in Dubai, people are very much open to putting themselves out there and having the conversation, because at the end of the day, they're like, I know I've sat with people on my podcast and I've made more money after having a conversation with them, and they have sent me links on how to use certain AI products, how to integrate email marketing more, how to like scrub data to get more. I would never have known that without having the conversation, but they're just open to it because you're a nice person. And they're like, they know you're not trying to steal their light, their glow, their anything. They just know that that's fine. If I do good, someone else will help me in another way.
Agreed. That brings me to my next question, something you just mentioned. Now, here at Bet Talks, we discuss everything from gaming/gambling, crypto, AI, blockchain, everything emerging tech within the UAE.
Yeah.
Now, we've had a big conversation regarding real estate, because obviously that's your sector.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on AI technology?
I bloody love it. Do you know why? And like, this is crazy. I had a teacher follow me from class to class from the age of 3 until I was 13. I couldn't read until I was 12. I had someone read, write, chat to me, blah, blah, blah. Crazy. I've then been fine. I've done 13 till 17 in school, just getting my extra time, because that really helps someone that really doesn't know what they're speaking. But again, my teachers just taught me how to pass. So it wasn't as if I was really fucking academic to get my A's. It was just my teachers taught me how to pass the exam, because that's what you do. And I was like, okay. Left university. University again was fine. It was just like, I would just research Google. Coming to Dubai and ChatGPT coming out and owning my own business. And I'm a yes person. So when I set up my business, I had no idea how to set up a business. I just said, I'll find out the right person to do it. Found the right person. We worked on a collaboration. And ever since then, I've done business set up in Dubai. The first one, I never done it. I got a kickback of someone else doing it. But I said it was through me. ChatGPT, I must have on my screen 5 times a day, minimum, asking that question. Whether it's asking to summarise the news of what's happening in the world that's going to affect real estate, whether it's to write a letter, whether it's to check spell check, whether it's to put together a business strategy or a marketing plan, whether it's to form an email. I think it is the best tool that will ever be created, especially for someone with dyslexia, with any learning difficulty, because it's like having that teacher that you had at school, that you aren't embarrassing yourself, you're not shouting out, how do I spell this?
Correct.
It's a silent helper. People are like, oh, AI is going to... I personally don't think AI will ever overtake the majority of jobs. I think it will be like the internet, where it will assist people to make more money. It will assist people to be more efficient. It will take away the shit jobs that people really shouldn't be doing and robots should be doing, like brushing, cleaning pavements. Like, why should someone be doing that? The human brain is so amazing. Why is someone spending their life sweeping the floor or mopping the floor? They should be educating and
Agreed.
put something into a different...
Agreed.
100% AI should be used to that. But I think within business, if it's used to a great degree, like I have a friend that 100x this company in a year through AI email campaigns, and it was basically when someone clicked on his email campaign, it was an AI of him scanning through the person's website and giving a detailed strategy, but he had just taught AI how to do that. Instead of him doing it, it saved him hundreds of hours of him giving these detailed strategies, which he used to do, but he'd now taught a robot to impersonate him doing it.
Wow.
Amazing. Like, that's fantastic. And I think if you can do it and you can use it to its advantage, AI will never be able to replace me sitting here giving the expressions. It just won't. It's a robot.
Sure.
It can't give it emotion, and emotion is what sells, is what makes people listen, is what people get engrossed in. It's what people will not sit and listen to a robot.
Yeah.
They'll be intrigued by it, but the intrigue will drop off 6 months after they've seen it. It's boring. It's old. We've seen it before.
Agreed.
And that's why I love it. I think it's the best thing ever.
Of course. Great answer. Before we wrap things up, I've got one more question I want to ask you. Now, Dubai has become very cryptocurrency friendly.
Yep.
Have you accepted cryptocurrency for property purchases?
Yeah, we have. And I think that's also amazing. Like Lily and yourself, I think we've sat at many dinners and I feel like, tell me about this. Lily, I think, is honestly bored of me asking because it just blows my mind. Crypto in general, I know it's a decentralized bank account, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, right, I get it. But I just don't understand it, especially when the market's dropped so drastically over the last few weeks and no one could read it.
Stable tokens are a big factor of purchasing things.
Yeah. Well, we get everything in USDT.
As a stable token.
So stable token.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we accept them. We only accept the stable tokens. Many developers now are accepting it because people, especially now when they come to Dubai, they're working from economies around the world. And these economies from around the world, a lot of them have like financials that they're only allowed to take a certain amount of money out per year, per individual. Some people are not, they're having to send money on such a regular occurrence that the fees rack up that sometimes they're better just having it in crypto.
And
I think it's great.
And the time frame of accepting payments.
Yeah, it's instant. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's great. I wish I understood it more and I wish I could get my head around it. But it's just like there's a mental block that I can understand the basics. But some things I'm like, it just doesn't, for me, make sense. But I do think going forward in Dubai, I do think we're going to start seeing people having crypto as a currency, people using it day-to-day life. Because Dubai is so accepting of change and flexibility and adaptability. And although the banks have got so much better since I first moved here when it was quite... in the old-fashioned days, checks and everything, and they've now got digital banking. Before that had happened, crypto was great because it was so much faster than the banks were producing. Now I'd say more or less hand in hand they're fine, but at that time, crypto was amazing. Yeah,
for sure. Hannah, it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming to Bet Talks. Guys, check out Pride and Shine, Hannah's podcast. You're on season 3, 4 now? How many
season 4, episode 5.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's just flown by.
Yeah. Checking out entrepreneurs and successful stories. It's been great having you on the show to get your knowledge on the real estate market and what it is you've been up to. I wish you all the best for the future and thanks for coming by.
And you, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Cheers, thank you.
I've got a little sweaty hand.